I want to bring up something that was in your book about liberals, because you do have a few problems with liberals, but you said that liberals have joyless sex. And I just wanted to say to you, I know liberals are evil in every way, but can't you just leave us to sex? I mean, can't you admit that that's the one thing we might have over conservatives? Why do liberals have joyless sex, and why can't we have just that one thing?
No, I'm sorry, you can't.
What is it about being a liberal that would give you joyless sex?
Well, it's described in the context of that it's, you know, the Howard Stern and demeaning sex and lesbianism and one-night stands, and it's all part of the, you know, liberal view of sex being like drinking a glass of water.
But you mean mechanical, married, Republican, procreative sex would be better than a lusty... lusty, who's your daddy freak session with Dick Gebhardt?
In fact, I also did not...
Come on.
I also did not know you were going to raise this, but in point of fact, you will remember it was around 1990, I think. There was a Chicago sex study. It was the only real sex study ever done. It went on for 5 years, only peer-reviewed sex studies. A lot of cool stuff in this study. It was covered widely, cover of Time and Newsweek at the time. And in point of fact, they asked people how many orgasms they had, and religious Christians through the roof.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
They would say, true fact. You got to go for a tour through the Bible Belt.
People are always honest when they answer questions in a sex survey.
This wasn't a sex survey. This was sociologists at the University of Chicago. It's the only serious peer-reviewed sex study ever done.
I have no comment on any
No,
of
that's okay. You're a congressman. You don't have But
look it up.
Here's something I think we have in common. I'm a big fan of the Italian Prime Minister Berlusconi. I think you are too, right?
I love him. He's quite a jokester.
So I'm sure you read this a couple of weeks ago. It came out that his wife is having an affair with the ex-mayor of Venice. And when they asked Berlusconi about it, he shrugged. He came out of a meeting with the Danish Prime Minister and said, I think I'll introduce him to my wife. He's even handsomer than the guy she's having an affair with. Now, can you picture George Bush saying, you know, Laura has been banging Dick Cheney. But,
well, if he did say that, he might win California.
I think I'm going to introduce her to Colin Powell, because I think he's got a little more...
Oh, goodness.
Isn't this a more mature way to look at marriage? I mean, a penis is not a gun.
Well, Europeans, you know, Europeans don't look at marriage as being something that is a love and a relationship. No, they, you know.
What's with the hee-haw gallery here?
So
do we have to get oohs and ahs for everything?
I think Americans take a relationship with their husband and wife much more seriously, and I think that's a wonderful thing.
But you don't think you can have love? You don't think Europeans have love, but that they also have a kind of a coalition of the willing on the side?
Well,
no, they have the joyless sex I described.
They have joyless sex.
That was the point of the conclusion that you took this one thing from. It's that American liberals are like Europeans this way. You know, abortion, adultery, lies, no church going.
I'm going to have some joyless sex tonight if I can.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're way too uptight about this. I mean, we're having affairs left and right, politicians, next door neighbors, the whole nine. Yet we're fighting about it. We're saying no. We're lying about it. And the Europeans, which are one of the oldest societies in the world, somehow are less sophisticated than us?
No, you know, this sex survey that's now become the topic of this panel, and as I say, it's the only peer-reviewed sex study. In point of fact, 75% of men and 85% of women in America will never be unfaithful to their spouses. The fact that that is shocking in Manhattan and Malibu proves my point.
Right, okay, well, listen. Fidelity in keeping one's word to someone one's married is a good thing, and I think that speaks well of America.
Kobe Bryant should be the Italian Prime Minister. Good luck to him.